Welcome to our AQS Pop-up Quilt Exhibit. You know, Liz and I work on lots of different things, and we try to find new things that we can have at the shows and that you can be a part of. And we did this in Grand Rapids, and the quilters loved it, so we've added it to all the shows now. And it gives you an opportunity to show off something that you're working on, maybe your latest piece or some small piece. All right, our first quilter is Judy Kirk. And you may know Judy because she's one of our instructors here at the show this year. And this is Bright Shade of Gray. And it's a pieced quilt. And did you quilt this yourself? Okay, and you quilted it on what? On a Bernina 440 machine. All right, thank you so much. And this is Mr. Judy Kirk. This is her husband.
One way of getting two in the show.
And so you've done a lopsided log cabin block, haven't you?
She has done.
She has done it, okay.
Lopsided log cabin. It's in a modern sort of frame, so it is a modern quilt because she's very keen on.
So she did it in a modern style and then did something fun with the quilting, didn't she, in the background?
The fun with the quilting is it's done with a walking foot, which is a relatively unusual way of doing machine quilting.
She did her quilting with a walking foot. So normally you wouldn't be doing curves, you just do that free motion, but the walking foot would work as well.
It has worked.
Yes, thank you so much. All right, this is Ron Stefanik, and he's a winner in our show here, and this is a quilt that he's done that is pieced, machine quilted by John. Yes,
I'll be the next one.
John, and it isn't quite finished yet, but turn it around so they can really see that quilting.
Yeah, he just brought it to me here at the show.
His quilter just brought it to him here at the show, so that's why he doesn't have the binding all finished yet. Thank you so much. Okay, is this a whole cloth?
This is a whole cloth.
A whole cloth quilt, and he's quilted it with colored thread.
It's upside down.
And it's upside down, but we straightened that out. Okay. And, I suppose you only know that because the rod pocket's up here, right? Okay, I was going to say, it looks the same. And it's called Solar Flare. And boy, this is really pretty what you've done here with the threads in this gold. And so that's a twisted log cabin block and a baby's block. And he loves feathers.
I do.
Thank you so much. All right, and so this is Louise Charlton from Kirkland, Quebec. Kirkland, that's my maiden name. Kirkland, Quebec, Canada. And this is Phoebe and Bodacious Collage. And so which one's Phoebe? The fish? Phoebe the fish and Bodacious the butterfly. And it's machine quilted. And what'd you quilt it with? She quilted it with a Janome 8900 machine. Very nice. Thank you for sharing. Oh, Bargello. Look at the bright colors.
I love orange.
She loves orange, so that's why she has a lot of orange in this one.
And it's called Love Orange.
It's called Love Orange is the title of the quilt.
It was in Paducah, Fall Paducah.
It was at the Fall Paducah show in the contest. Turn it around so you can see the quilting. And you quilted it with?
Actually, I have a quilter who did the quilting, and I don't know.
A long arm?
It's a long arm.
Okay, she has a quilter who did the quilting with a long arm machine. All right, thank you so much for sharing with us. Okay, I don't know if you know it, but if you're an AQS member, you get our On Point newsletter. And right now we have a series going on Bargello piecing. So if you're not a member, you need to be because you get lots of free information like that. But I think she's divided it into different steps of making the sections. And in this week, we put the sections together so you can learn how to do that. Wilma Gerald from Norfolk, Virginia. Oh, now I have to say that. Norfolk. I learned that yesterday. And it's called Gathering of Sisters, and it's pieced with beaded embellishments.
So pretty.
Very nice. And it was quilted.
By check.
Oh, she quilted by check. Thank you very much. Okay, so this is Julia Lewis, and this is the Lewis Hill creation by Julia, and it's called Blue Spirit. And I've been quilting for about 16 years. I started with hand quilting, and I'm now doing hand quilting and long arm quilting. I found the butterfly fabric and found a square and a square pattern, and I improvised from there. The quilting has butterflies in it on the border. Oh, all over? She said, my late husband and I went to the butterfly garden in Key West, and I was fascinated by the various butterflies, in particular the blue ones. This was the inspiration for this quilt. And that butterfly fabric is really pretty, isn't it?
That's what I did.
And you quilted it how?
Long arm.
She did it, oh, quilted it on a long arm. Okay, so this is Jackie Sabo, and she has a baby quilt here that's used minky and some counted cross-stitch squares. And it's heavy too, isn't it?
There's no bedding. It's just.
So this would be a good one for them to crawl around on the floor on, wouldn't it? Because it would be really heavy on a little baby. Really pretty, and nice counted cross-stitch too.
It took me 15 years.
It took her 15 years to do the cross-stitch. Thank you so much. Laura Jepson from Chesapeake, Virginia. The title of this is Sinner, and it's a whole cloth walking foot matchstick quilting inspired by Jackie Gehring. Oh my goodness. Well, you have, and it's silky?
It's actually a recycled curtain.
A recycled curtain. And it's burgundy, and she used black thread, so you get that swish of the color.
It's 28 weight thread, 244 lines, 152.5 yards of thread.
244 lines of quilting in this little quilt. Yeah, but who's counting? Oh. And so how long does it take to do that amount of quilting?
From start to finish, from the design to lining everything out, quilting, it was about 12 hours.
12 hours of quilting. My goodness.
From beginning to end.
And it looks
it.
to me like they're about 1/8 of an inch apart.
They are.
Okay.
I think a 16th would have killed me.
And you quilted it how?
On a Bernina 590.
590 Bernina. Well, it's beautiful. Thank you so much. That's a work in patience. Okay, we have Karen Millman from Virginia Beach. Scrappy, and it's English paper piecing. The pattern is by Lucy Carson Kingwell of Kingwell Designs.
We met once a month for 6 months.
Okay, she did this with her bee, and they met once a month for 6 months to work on this. Hand pieced and hand quilted. Very nice. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. Well, okay, so is that all of the quilts that we've seen, everybody's quilts? Thank you so much for coming.